Living the good life full of goodbyes. Tonight, yeah, and I'm higher up offward.
Hey guys, in this video we're going to be rebuilding my first mini bike. Alright, so as you saw, it's pretty beat. There's no motor on it, the rear tire is blown out. I had this fitted for a Chinese 110 that I mounted on here. And in the intro, that bike that's going by like crazy fast and sounds like a bubble blower, that's the 110 on this thing. It was absolutely insane, and as you can see, it actually kind of butchered the front end on it. You can see the bend there, that's not supposed to be like that. And that's pretty much just from torquing on the handlebars and holding on to this thing, because obviously it's not built out of the strongest metal. So this bike, it's a Motovox MBX10. I know it has a Doodlebug seat on it, but my old seat just kind of got screwed up, so I put a Doodlebug seat on it because it fit. So today, unfortunately, we're only putting the stock motor back on, which I kind of don't like doing because this motor was like really slow. I have a 6-horse Tecumseh, but that thing is such a pile. So I figured I would just use this little guy. So basically what we're going to be doing is probably take the tank back off of there, put that back on the top of the motor, obviously get the motor mounted on, and hopefully take it for a little ride today. So I'm going to start first by taking these mounts for the 110 off and getting all the 110 wiring out of the way. Alright, so with a little bit of lifting and a tight fit, I got the mini bike up on the bench, and as I said, I'm going to start disassembling the 110 mounts and getting the wiring off. So I'm going to figure out where to set the camera so you can see that, and I will see you guys whenever that is finished. Alright, so I got the motor mounts off, and I got the all the electronics that were shoved up in here. I still need to get rid of all of this. This was just for the battery start, because the motor was electric start only. So, let's see, what else can I do before? Oh, I need to take this chain tensioner off back here. I probably won't film that because I guarantee you won't be able to see it. And I need to take this tank off, which is already almost off. So let me get that tank off really quick, and then I will come back. Alright, so just cut the zip ties off. I think it looks a lot better without that tank up there. It's just sitting on the motor plate right there now. But, so yeah, I think I'm going to get, still need to get all this wiring off. And I don't have a twist grip throttle for it because the cable snapped. So I'm just kind of using the janky old brake lever throttle with a cable that probably won't, that does not at all fit the twist grip. So, oh, one more thing I need to do. And I think I might, oh, the lighting is nice and terrible there. I'm going to do this on camera because I've kind of taken a lot of shortcuts with the, okay, I'm going to cut this thing off because there we go. Now you can actually see what I'm doing. So we're just gonna back some screws out here. Oh, I only need to do one, I think, because this should just slide right off. And there we go. So now we've done that. Now we need to get Mr. Yeah, I did all of the wiring with this with like copper house wiring, which was really stupid, but it worked. Because, lighting is crap now. There you go. Because I did not have any other wiring to do it with that was thick enough gauge to run the starter, and I'm having a lot of trouble with this one zip tie for some reason. Come on now. I put it on time lapse and I can do them all, but then as soon as I start like actually recording, you know, give it back. There we go. Alright, so all of the electrics now off, so this is pretty much all I've pulled off of it so far, and the tank. So what else can I do? The seat needs to be remounted because that's like not really together anymore. Again, rear tire, chain tensioner, and obviously I have that little guy to get mounted back on. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna take kind of the liberty of having this motor off, so I can just kind of clean this whole thing up, because you can see it's pretty nasty looking. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get this electrical tape off. I'm gonna get it cleaned up first, and then probably come back, put it back up on the bench, and then continue this journey. Alright, so I'm letting the bike dry off outside. If you can see it, got it standing up there on the deck. I don't know how the time lapse turned out, because my dog walked in front of it a bunch of times, so I don't know if it's just like all dog or any of me actually cleaning the bike. So I think the next thing to do is going to be to kind of get this motor cleaned up, because it's been sitting for a long time, and I already see some jerry rigging going on here. So it does have a clutch on it. It's nice and loose, so we're going to need to fix that. This petcock does work. Fuel line, we need fuel line. I don't know if it's got oil in it, I need to check that out. It's not locked up or anything. That knocking you hear is the clutch over there. Yeah, so this motor is not actually as bad as I thought it was. It just needs pull start, or just like wrap a rope around there and give her a tug. So, oh, the gas tank originally on this bike mounted, I think it was something like this. Somewhere it had, oh, I bent the tabs in, so I have to bend those tabs back out. So you know what, while I am waiting for that bike to dry, I'm going to bend the tabs back on the gas tank. So I have it kind of sketchily clamped in the vise. What we're going to do here is just get ourselves a pair of vice grips free of everything else. Kind of get it on there. I'm not going to tighten anything yet, because I think they should just kind of bend back. There you go. There's one. You might not be able to see any of this because it's probably pretty shaky. There's two, but I'd like to get this one kind of fixed a little bit more. I'm just doing this as kind of the baseline, getting it bent back. Okay, now here's three. And this one's going to be pretty good because I bent this one pretty bad. I did all these modifications when I was like probably in 6th or 7th grade. So don't judge what I'm undoing that my kind of previous self did, because trust me, I'm not that stupid. Well, I don't know, I might be, but I'm not as, well, that's still questionable. I'm questionably less stupid than I was then. So because the stupid has kind of been traded off. Before it was like just doing dumb stuff like that, but now it's going, 60 miles an hour on a mini bike that has 13 horsepower when it originally had 2.5 horsepower. So the stupid factor kind of got traded off there, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I think we're going to call that good enough. They're not the straightest, but let's see if it at least kind of mounts up to the motor now. So it should have, oh wait, oh no, I was doing it right. So it should go there, and there. And you can see the holes on the block, not on the block, on the head, where it mounts. Let's see what we got back here. This guy here needs to come out some more, it looks like, because that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm going to do that and then start bolting this tank back. So after cutting a few corners, meaning stacking some nuts back there and doing the same on this side, I'm not going to get in there, but tank is on, not going anywhere. So the next concern I have is throttle, because as you saw, the throttle was completely butchered. It should have, an arm that comes off of here. It goes to a link. It's just complicated. So what I'm wondering is if I can somehow, so it's a if you push it this way, that's wide open, that's nothing. So what I'm wondering is if I can use a bolt that comes out of here, comes back, and then I have 2 nuts and 2 washers that clamp the end of a cable in place, and it just pulls on something up here. I think that could maybe work, but I'm gonna get the bike back in here, get the motor installed on the bike, and all that stuff first, because that's kind of more important. So I'm gonna go out and get the bike off the deck, pull it back in here, and then we can continue. All right, so I got the bike back up on the workbench here. So I'm gonna start by removing this extra mount here and the chain tensioner back there. I did say I was gonna do that off camera, but I figured I would just do it because with all the kind of shortcuts I've taken on the time lapse and stuff, I figured I would kind of take a minute and you know, actually do this. You know, actually film it instead of just time lapsing it. Because I don't know, this is kind of the first video. I don't really know how you guys are going to want to see. I don't know how you guys are going to want to see. You know, what you guys are going to want to see and what you aren't. But this is just kind of a not really a test video, but just kind of a experimental video. So we've got that done. I'm gonna move you here now, taking that off, because hopefully we will not be needing that anymore. We will be probably installing a chain tensioner, and yeah, I will eventually do a video on how I build these homemade chain tensioners. It's like super simple, but a lot of people don't really know how to do it, so I will make a video regarding these. Okay. This bolt is like way long, and this is when like a drill driver or one of those battery impacts you see everyone using would be like an absolute dream, so I don't have to deal with taking like a solid 30 seconds to remove one bolt. So this should just slip out back there, and oh, that was good. Launch the spring across the room and drop the tensioner. Basically that's all it is. It's just like a tensioner wheel mounted to a piece of square flat stock. And here's the spring. Just use this mount somewhere, use it to pull it back. It really doesn't take a whole lot of competence to make one. So yeah, oh, the other thing I need to do, I need to take this rear wheel off because as you can see, it actually has a 420 sprocket on it, because the one, oh man, that's like kind of loose, that's not great. The motor this bike had on it ran 420 chain, so I kind of had to rig this to fit. So I'm gonna actually take that off now, take the rear wheel off. I might have to put the bike on the ground. Yeah, I'm gonna put the bike on the ground, and probably the rest of the video, because I'm kind of done with like the little stuff up here. So yeah, so I'm gonna take that wheel off. I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually record that or not. And I'll definitely record taking the sprocket off, put the wheel back up on the bench and stuff. So yeah, let me get it down and got the wheel off, got the axle and the chain and the spacers chilling over there. Got the trusty bike stool. I love the balance point right there. The fact that it's like all the way forward, that just like doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I guess because there's no motor and wheel on it, it's just really front heavy. So I'm gonna time lapse getting this off, because this is the part I was dreading, because I had a time getting this thing on here. But the good thing is instead of running like the 80 tooth sprocket that was on it, I'm gonna put a 60 tooth, because I just kind of had that laying around, and I figured I would try to get a little bit more speed out of this motor. So yeah, I'm gonna put y'all on time lapse and get this the sprocket off. Alright, so I went out to my kind of pile of things to find a sprocket for this and a rear tire, and I was successful with both, but I did completely lie about the 60 tooth one. It's back there, but it's a 4-bolt pattern, and this guy here is a 6-bolt pattern, so that's not happening. So instead I just found the 72 tooth that would have come on the stock, which is right here, and as you can see, the holes line up perfectly. So that's going on, but before we do any of that, it's tire wrestling time, because I found me a tire. Hopefully it holds air. I don't know if it does. It might not. If it doesn't, it's no better than this tire. If it does, well, then I've done something there. So before I put the sprocket on, I'm going to do some tire wrestling, get this thing off, get this thing on, and then after that, it is getting down to bolting the sprocket on, putting the motor on the bike, obviously putting the rear wheel on, then getting to making a chain, getting the throttle assembly together, and then it should be time for a little rip. So I'm going to just not even try to film the tire wrestling, because I know I've tried to film tire wrestling before and it just does not work, because then I inevitably break something and then look completely stupid. So I'm going to get this tire on first, and I might get the sprocket on, and then come back, and then we can bolt the rear wheel on the bike and get on. Alright, so I found this valve stem here, and I was kind of concerned because it has some cracking in it and stuff. Let's see, focus, there you go. It's got some cracking in it and stuff, but as it turns out, we are in business. This valve stem does still work. I have tested it on the compressor, put my finger over the end, and it didn't leak out or anything. So I'm going to slap the valve stem in, put the tire on, and then we will start getting this show on the road in terms of riding it. Can't get the tire to bead. This is really dumb, but I think what I'm going to do is just kind of soldier on with this, put the sprocket on, get the rest of it together, and then mess with that later. Maybe not ride it this video, I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyway, I'm gonna get the sprocket back on this. So we have here, and now if you notice, I'm using the brake disc side, and I'm doing that for a reason, and it's because I had to drill out the holes on the other side to make that 110 sprocket fit, so there's no threads in them anymore, which is kind of dumb that I had to do that, but I mean, whatever. The brakes on this won't work anyway, so figured I would just drop the screws back in here and go from there. So I'm gonna finish getting these screws in, and then we will start putting the wheel back on the bike. So I'm gonna just set you guys right here. And yes, I put the phone in the bench vise because don't have a tripod yet. And I'm recording with my phone because I'm not sure if this is actually going to be worthy of purchase. This channel is actually going to be worthy of purchasing an okay camera, or if it's going to be phone, and we'll see. So let's get these last 2 bolts in. Yeah, I can't find the air fitting for the compressor either, so that was always good. The tire filling one. So, and it appears that I've lost bolt number 6, which if I have, it's not that big a deal, but I wouldn't mind having it. I mean, it's not like this is going to put a whole lot of horsepower through it. Let's see if one of these would fit. Maybe. Ah, yes it does. So, we have bolt number 6, but it is slightly different size, or slightly different, well, it's just a different head. Okay, so we have the sprocket on. I'm going to go around and tighten each one of these, make sure we're in business so we don't lose any sprocket bolts. Alright, so I'm just going to drop that real quick. Okay, so we got sprocket on. I think I'm going to go put the wheel on. Alright, so we got the bike on the ground. Kind of got the engine mocked up about where we want it. You know, obviously haven't done any chain fixing or anything, but the good news is the bolts from the 110 swap will fit the motor mount bolts for this, or will fit the holes for this. So just gonna reuse those. And I'm currently trying to get one on. So I'm probably going to have to mount this and then come back unless I can find a better place to put the camera so you can actually see. So yeah. Alright, so we got the motor on-ish. I have the bolts through, and I don't have them tightened down or anything yet. So, I think the next step will obviously is to kind of get the chain sorted out and get the bolts tightened down, especially this nice loose clutch. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and then we can maybe start it up. I don't know. What we're looking at in terms of the carburetor here, it's probably pretty full of crap. So, without further ado, I'm going to get these tightened down, and no, I'm not going to film it because chains and motor mounts and stuff, I don't really work super well with that. So, I'm going to not film that yet. Or I don't know, if I can find a place to put the camera, I might. So yeah, and I also need to go get a mount. Alright, well, that was an adventure. So, I just spent the last probably hour and a half getting the chain tight, getting the motor bolted up, and getting this guy to the correct tension, which involved a lot of chain splitting with a really terrible chain splitter. So yeah, it's together. It might run, maybe. I still have not done anything for that. But the wheel is on, and all is well in the world of mini bikes that might work. So, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start filming this again. Make sure my chain alignment's good, and yes it is. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to get Mr. Seat properly bolted down and see if... I don't know how I'm going to do that actually. I might just run a bungee cord. Yeah, I'm going to just run a bungee cord around the top. Just to be cheap, and might maybe work. So, if you've noticed, I've actually done a little bit of patchwork, or not patchwork, just kind of like rust getting rid of. That's obviously not the right color paint. It's flat black, and the whole black is gloss, but it's better than having the frame rust out. So, without further ado, I'm going to... what to do next? Throttle or seat? And then get it running. And then my neighbors are using their bush cutting thing over there. I think I'm going to do throttle just because that's going to be such a pain. But I have kind of an idea on how I want to do this, so... And I said earlier, and then I told you I'd kind of get it on the bike and, you know, get the motor on the bike and have all that stuff ready in order to feed this tire. So what I'm thinking about doing here is running a bolt in that, it's really hard to see that gas tank mount up there, there's a hole there. Run that out and then clamp the throttle cable between, clamp the throttle cable between two washers and then have this, do that. Now, what I don't know is if I want to get into that or if I want to just do something stupid that might work for a little while. Let's see. So how hard would that actually be to do? Because my problem is I kind of need like a cable stay. You know what? I'm gonna actually first see if I have a cable to do this with. Because if I don't, I'm gonna need to order one and all that good stuff. But if I do, I will just throw this back together. Alright, so I got pretty much everything done. I got a throttle linked up and everything. But I can't get the tire to bead, so I think I'm going to end this video here and just make this kind of a part 1, part 2 video. Probably make the part 2 video sometime this week. So yeah, and I gotta have some time to edit this first one. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what else you want to see. I have some other cool projects kind of coming up. So yeah, don't forget to don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.